Alright, let me tell you the reason why I developed a smoking habit. And the reason is that I'll never be as good, nay, even on the same plane of existence as these two players in this game, okay? These two are just above and beyond on a different dimension of brain power that I'll never be able to achieve. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. We have a Karo Khan, and everything's normal up until this move right here. White invents a new opening, gambiting the E-pawn right here. I mean, this doesn't even have a name. That's how much of a novelty this gambit is. But Black declines the gambit. He's not falling for White's preparation, okay? White wants him to take that free pawn, and he can get whatever compensation that's too deep for me to even understand. Um, but Black is not falling for it. In fact, Black's strategy is just pin the knight, right? This is 800 Elo chess at its finest. You see knight, you pin knight. We have some more pawn movement, and boom, now both knights are pinned. All right, this right here is just you see knight, you pin knight. That's what I've gathered so far from this game, and they're not falling for each other's gambits. But these pins are a problem. You gotta attack the bishop and make the pin go away. I was thinking maybe bishop e2 would be better, as I've highlighted there with the arrow, but White prefers to play h3, so what am I to question it? We have a trade, and now Black plays c5. Not only can White take this pawn right here, and the bishop moves back, just basically wasting a tempo from Black, this pawn right here is attacked 1, 2, 3 times and only defended twice. So this is Black's counter gambit from White gambiting this pawn on like move 3 or 4 or whatever that was, right? So we're just having opening novelties here, just gambits all around, and White is not falling for that. They got rid of one of the bishops, right? They got rid of the bishop pinning the f3 knight, and now they're going to get rid of the other bishop. But Black plays the danger levels move. You're attacking me, I attack you. Now, the reason why this is a miss is because this pawn is actually like kind of free. Because you can take it, and then the queen has to take back because of danger levels, right? And it's not like a free pawn per se, but it's kind of protect, like this pawn is under a lot of attack, and then by like trading it off, it's no longer under a lot of attack. Anyway, but we have this big trade here. Materials equal, but we have more trades, and now white is of a pawn, but this pawn's attacked twice, right? You could take with the queen or the knight, but Black decides to just castle, which the computer doesn't hate. And now White defends the pawn with the c pawn. And the reason the computer doesn't like this is because White's king is wide open, and the computer tends to not like it when kings are pretty vulnerable to attack. We have a block. The reason this is a mistake, as opposed to playing the other bishop, is because it's just harder for White to castle. And then now, Black plays a6, because as you can see, the pawn was attacked twice and only defended once, so Black pushes it up to defend it with this pawn. However, this bishop was pinned, so it actually wasn't attacked twice because the bishop is pinned. It was still perfectly defended, and Black could just keep developing by moving the knight to d7. But Black is this is just a prophylactic move in case, this bishop ever gets unpinned. Boom, this pawn is safe, right? We have bishop b2 getting ready to castle, and now b5 striking in the center. Now, the thing about this is not only, right, is this pawn attacked twice and only defended one time, but this pawn is actually pinned because if you do this, the rook is hanging, okay? And that's just a free rook for White. So, but Black is just trying to make something happen, right? Open some lines, take, and oops, here we go. It's kind of, when I do the extra lines there, it kind of like mess with the analysis on the side with the arrow keys, and I didn't want to like mess up. Anyway, that's how bad I am at this game. So another contributing to the smoking problem. Black black develops the knight. Now the rook is protected. But that's still a free pawn, right? So now white is just up 3 pawns, right? Just triple gambit from black. And now knight to e5 attacking the queen. Queen goes to g3. It's an inaccuracy because the computer preferred queen to f5. Knight takes on d5. Now black won one of the pawns back. And now bishop to f3, pinning the knight against this rook right here. However, this allows not that move, which is excellent, but it allows knight to d3 check, which prevents white from castling at all because the king has to move, and then you can start punishing. But we have this trade. Now the knight is not exactly pinned because the rook is now defended by the queen instead of just having the bishop go take it, right? It wouldn't be like an exchange blundering. And now black takes another pawn. Now white's only 1 pawn down. And queen to e2, a blunder, because black can sacrifice the rook. And after you sacrifice the rook, that allows knight to d3 check right here. If king goes to d1, you have double check, which just is not a fun time. And if king goes to something like f1, queen f6 check gets the queen in the game, and it's almost threatening checkmate here. If the queen blocks, obviously it's checkmate, so you're not going to do that, but black is just still majorly winning here. The king is just too weak. Okay, but didn't happen. We have rook to c8, and black is like, I need all of my pieces in the attack, right? I'm not going to just sacrifice the rook. I'm going to, before I get my entire army assembled, right? When the Avengers fought Thanos in Endgame, right? And it was just Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, right? They got their cheeks absolutely clapped by Thanos, right? And it wasn't until they said Avengers assemble and all the portals were opened up by the Doctor Strange wizards and every Avenger ever created walked through them to fight Thanos. Only then did they have a chance of winning. And that is black's mindset here. I must assemble all the Avengers before I begin my attack. Now white finally castles. The king is so safe right now. Knight goes here, attacking the rook and the bishop. And now knight takes e3. The reason this is a good move is because the bishop is just better on an open board. So trading this off is good. Good play. We have a trade of rooks, a trade here. Obviously, taking the knight with the pawn is a million times better than taking it with the queen when the rook could just take it. So now, white has this passed pawn going for him, which is nice. But white's king is just a little more open. Black's vulnerable to the back rank mate, but as long as you keep a rook or the queen back there, you're totally fine. Now, queen goes to c5, putting pressure on that f3 pawn. And rook defends. The reason why the computer liked queen f2 a little bit better, because if you take with the rook is actually pinned, and then you can play something like this and just turn the tables, right? Just turn the tables with that awesome bait of taking the pawn, just pinning the rook completely. It's not it's not an absolute pin. It's just pinned against the queen, but so I guess you couldn't do that because the rook could just take it. But then the queen could just... No, because the queen would be pinned. So forget I said anything. This is why I'm really bad at this game. This is why I have a problem, right? Anyway. Defends like this. Queen checks for no reason at all. King moves out of the way. And now queen goes to c6, attacking the pawn. Pawn gets pushed up to safety. And rook goes behind the pawn. And the computer says this is a dead draw, alright? But these players have other ideas. White goes queen a2 attacking this pawn now. And black does not defend. They defend against the back rank checkmate, which is not being threatened at all. Queen takes f7 check. King goes here. And now white sacrifices the queen. And after this trade, which you basically have to play... king goes up, you get a new queen, and trades right here, and black resigned. And I mean, that whole game was just on a different level, as you can see by me just struggling to analyze, this position right here. Like, these players are just on a different level. So, I can't even analyze their positions properly. That's how much of a different level they're on. So I hope you enjoyed the game, and hopefully you were enlightened as to the new chess meta.